There are two things in the study I found very surprising. The first one was one that was kind of set up for me by Sandra Day O'Connor and the Supreme Court. And it was kind of the conventional wisdom that she threw out there with the landmark decision, Shaw versus Reno in 1993, where in that decision, Sandra Day O'Connor, in the majority opinion, said that black majority districts are evidence of and remind us of political apartheid, that it's the separation of the races, and it's evidence that black representatives are ignoring white voters, and that race is polarizing the electorate in a way that is unhealthy for democratic politics. I think that was the conventional wisdom at the time, that most people saw those districts in that fashion, that these were a polarizing force in politics because they were separating people based on race, and that was wrong. And that was the approach the Supreme Court was taking. The surprising finding, the biggest surprising finding of the study, was in fact they didn't have that effect. That these black majority districts actually created more of what I call the politics of commonality, where it helped bring the races together because the African American politicians who were elected in these districts were racial moderates who reached out to white voters and tried to create more of a biracial politics. So that really was a very kind of counterintuitive, and again, flew right in the face of the Supreme Court decision that was arguing exactly the opposite. They were polarizing. I found, in fact, it was quite different, that they were more unifying. I guess the second thing, too, that was somewhat surprising was the extent to which, in many of the interviews I did, race was obviously important, but yet members of Congress all tried to downplay it, including African American members, including the white members I interviewed and their staff. They all would try to have more of a non-racial or biracial approach to how they talked about politics. Even if it was obvious that race mattered in an important way, they were trying to ignore it and pretend that it wasn't there. And that was somewhat surprising to me, that it seemed to me that they would have recognized more the importance of race that actually was, again, quite evident.